Oh, hello, yes. Well, I'm safely ensconced in the seaside loveliness that is Hastings. Yes, I know it looks like I'm still at home, but that's probably due to the magic of recording things. Anyway, hopefully I'm safely ensconced in the seaside loveliness that is Hastings. I hope I haven't been brutally attacked in a rundown seaside town. Yes, hopefully those vigilantes out there will keep me safe, because we know the police won't. Anyway, migrant hotel hell that it'll be. Anyway, leaving that aside, I thought today we'd talk about the centrality of class because, well, I know, sometimes it's so easy to forget all those trite terms, isn't it? Like, all history is the history of class struggle, but it basically is. You can definitely see things that way. And, I've been thinking about these kind of things. I was struck last week by, just this archetypal Nepo baby inheritance tax whinge that was from Mark Wogan. In case you don't know, he's, yes, the son of. Whilst Daddy was alive, he made something of a name selling pizzas. Yeah, let that one hang. But now he's got his own radio show. Gosh, I wonder how he managed to get that. So, a perfect example of, well, just who you know, rather than any necessary talent. Because, I'm sorry, there are lots of people on the radio, and we do tend to sort of end up with people like, well, let's just say Boris Johnson's sister, who perhaps don't necessarily have a sort of wonderful feel for the medium. Just going to let that one hang there. Anyway, he was whinging about the fact that he cannot sell the home of his father, late father, Sir Terry Wogan, because Rachel Reeves has killed the housing market. Yes. Which got me thinking about that sort of notion. What he means is he can't sell it for what he thinks it's worth. And people in his position who have inherited a great deal of money from parents who did the work, and he hasn't really. I'm sorry about that, Mark, but not really, mate, okay? He's decided to whinge about it because in that time-honoured tradition of people that were born into money, or at least into a reasonably wealthy background, the system cannot possibly go against them. The system must be rigged if in any way, shape or form they lose. So it cannot happen. And you can see this with an awful lot of them in terms of the kind of live electric fence of issues that there are in and around their own personal status and wealth. You can think about, again, ongoing for the last few weeks, about the notion of inheritance tax. When somebody who's a lot less famous, inverted commas, than Wogan's son suggested 100% inheritance tax. It was like somebody had sworn at a Victorian vicar's wives' party. Oh, what a no-no that is. Mustn't. Whatever you do, say anything about inheritance tax. It can't be done. It's all bad. How many people does it affect, realistically, inheritance tax in the UK? 3%. Is it 3% at the bottom? No, it's not, is it? It's all about them rich types who cannot possibly have their lives upset. And they know full well that basically they are where they are because mummy and daddy helped them, yeah? The Duke of Westminster didn't get where he is due to hard graft. He got there because his dad was the Duke of Westminster. And the Duke of Westminster, his dad, got there, not through hard graft, but because his dad was the Duke of Westminster. And his dad, the Duke of Westminster, got there, not through hard graft, but because his dad was the Duke of Westminster. And it can keep on going on to this until you go back to the Norman invasion, when the Duke of Westminster was a bloke who'd sailed across, with those French Viking gits that invaded us, and basically grabbed a whole bunch of land, oddly in Westminster, and is now sitting very pretty. Now, if you think that's an example of a really, really good way to run things, you're welcome to it. However, the whole democracy thing does tend to go out the window. And this is something that, in terms of our class-based system, oh yes, that again, that people seem to have problems with, in that we must live in a perfectly fair society where it's only natural to hand stuff over to your kids, which very, very neatly, greatly reinforces the situation we're in. And you can see why the people that are creating a fuss are creating a fuss about it. You get people like Jeremy Clarkson, who happily will go on all of those. Oh my God, isn't it dreadful, these farmers and inheritance tax? Why? Because he bought a farm to avoid inheritance tax, because farmers pay less inheritance tax. And he stated that categorically when he did it. You mustn't touch his money, which he got because he really worked hard for it. After all, he got those great A levels, didn't he? Or something. And this also spreads, of course, into the notion of private education. We mustn't have VAT on schools. We must have middle class schooling privilege subsidised by the rest of us, which is what, the whole thing about not paying VAT as a charity, those schools were. Again, it was a huge thing that couldn't be done. And now it has been done. Well, yeah, the world is still here, isn't it? But you can see this on a deeper level, because the more that we've gone on and the more we've moved into this kind of nepo nastiness of the uber rich running everything, it has infected all of our politics, and we no longer properly have a democracy. And I'll point you classically, if you like, to the Labour Party. But first, let's veer off to the USA. You, I'm sure, are aware that there is a contested New York mayoralty, where unfortunately that nasty Mendani bloke won for the Democratic primary by a very large amount, including a lot of Jewish voters who presumably don't know what they're doing in a capos or something. Anyway, possibly they're anti-Semitic. But the Democratic establishment, because it's owned by the uber wealthy, has reacted very badly to it, and they are going to try and push a couple of very, very dodgy candidates instead. Who will lose? So we can expect more and more ongoing stuff against the actual candidate from the party that he's supposed to be representing. Why? It's a class-based issue. He will bring in policies which are a bit socialist, like subsidised food, dreadful, and subsidised rent. Can't have subsidised things, can we? Well, unless, it's private healthcare, or, private education, or, private land. In which case, that level of state socialism is absolutely fine, but only for the rich. Only for the rich, not for you. Meanwhile, of course, in this country, we do indeed have the Labour Party, who have been completely taken over by those sorts of interests. And that's why you get that utter disconnect between the Labour Party membership and the people at the top. And the people at the top, one way or another, won't let go of that. And hopefully, I'm hoping that a newly formed Corbyn-style Labour Party on the left, not the Labour Party because they don't want to replicate that structure, the thing that they have to do is ensure that it's democratic to avoid all of those nasty middle-class interests. You can see them all at the top of the Labour Party. That, given half a chance, will make sure that they're sitting very, very, very comfortably indeed. I am reminded of the old joke about the trade union negotiator who goes in to talk to the bosses, and he comes out and he says, "I've secured a 5% pay increase," to which everyone cheers, and he says, "No, not for you lot, that's just for me." That's the way these things work. Dangle money in front of an awful lot of political activists and you can see exactly whereabouts they are. There is no real sense in this country of a desire for change. And the whole migrants, hotels, immigrants, asylum seekers, illegals, whatever, is a very much part of this, because we have a ruling class in this country that is more than happy to usher in enormous social unrest and a form of fascism rather than give up a single penny of what they have. And you can argue, look at Nigel Farage. He's got like Zia Yusuf next to him. Yes, that's a class-based issue. Look at the top of the Conservative Party. Yeah, there might well be Kemi Badenoch there, but she's the right class. It's a class issue. It isn't a race issue. It's a class issue. They'll use race, but they're hoping that them people at the bottom aren't going to notice. So, yeah, that's you lot. Don't notice, get angry about those things and ignore the big picture, because by God they don't want you to see any change coming for them. They don't mind your benefits being cut. After all, you're just lazy, aren't you? You're not like Mark Wogan, who's really worked hard at that pizza business to get the radio slots that he does. Anyway, I wish him well selling his dad's house. and he'll get the proceeds of the house, won't he? Do have a lovely day. Do enjoy the seaside if you're there, and if it's not very sunny, I don't know, I can't really blame anybody, but it's been a sort of odd this end all, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, enjoy.